When you decide to sell a home inside a Florida deed-restricted community, you are parting with a legal and financial membership in a miniature corporate entity. Because the Florida housing market is tightly regulated, the paperwork required to make this transfer is exact. Missing a single statutory document gives your prospective buyer the absolute legal right to cancel the transaction and walk away. To protect your sale, we are going to build a pre-listing HOA clearance dossier. Think of this as a step-by-step defense mechanism you assemble before a single buyer steps through your front door. To start, grab a physical folder and log into your HOA owner portal to ensure your credentials are active. You will need immediate access to your community's private financial records. By compiling this information up front, you eliminate the risk of late-stage statutory traps. You approach the closing table as a fully informed, protected negotiator. Step 1 for your dossier is securing the Homeowners Association's Summary Disclosure Form. Under Florida Statute 720.401, this specific piece of paper carries a massive penalty for the seller. If you fail to handle it correctly, the buyer has a penalty-free right to back out of the deal and take their earnest money deposit. This timeline graphic illustrates the crucial delivery window. The top track demonstrates a secure transaction, where the seller provides the disclosure form prior to the buyer executing the purchase contract. The bottom track triggers an immediate cancellation because the document arrived after signatures were already on the contract. As the document expands, we see exactly why the state demands this early warning. It explicitly notifies the buyer that they are entering a mandatory association, subject to strict assessments, and it highlights a severe consequence. Failure to pay those dues can result in a foreclosure lien against the property. Securing this disclosure early in the process neutralizes the buyer's easiest legal loophole for abandoning the deal. Even if your personal account balance is paid perfectly, your sale can still fall apart if the buyer is relying on a conventional mortgage. Lenders heavily scrutinize the macro-financial health of an entire community to determine its warrantability. They do this by issuing a multi-page association questionnaire to your HOA board. This digital dashboard shows the first major red flag banks look for. If less than 10% of the association's annual operating budget goes to long-term capital reserves, a lender can blacklist the entire neighborhood. Moving over to the neighborhood layout, we find the second red flag. If 15% or more of the units turn a warning color to show they are delinquent on their dues, banks will refuse to write mortgages. Finally, if an active litigation warning appears over the community profile, meaning the association is tied up in a major negligence lawsuit, lenders will immediately halt funding. If your HOA triggers any of these lender blacklists, your pool of potential buyers shrinks exclusively to cash investors, a scenario that typically forces sellers to severely reduce their asking price to close the deal. Under Florida's Johnson v. Davis legal ruling, you also carry a legal obligation to disclose any hidden upcoming costs. If your board is actively planning a major special assessment for neighborhood paving, you must disclose it to the buyer upfront. Auditing your association's financial health early prevents you from wasting valuable market time on mortgage-dependent buyers whose loans will inevitably be denied. To prevent aesthetic issues from delaying your closing, walk your lot's perimeter with an objective eye. Wash dirty roof tiles and repaint peeling mailboxes before the management company makes their routine drive-by inspections. If the HOA attempts to levy a sudden fine right before your closing date, Florida law dictates they must first provide a 14-day written notice and schedule a formal committee hearing. The statute offers a clear remedy. If you correct the property violation before that formal hearing takes place, the law strictly bars the HOA from levying the fine against your account. You also have statutory protections regarding what sits in your driveway. Florida Statute 720.3075 acts as a legal shield against overzealous neighborhood parking enforcement. This statute explicitly guarantees your right to park personal pickup trucks or non-commercial work vans with company logos in your own driveway without penalty. It also protects your right to maintain backyard vegetable gardens or clotheslines, provided they are out of public view. Understanding these exact statutory timelines and parking rights ensures you won't panic pay an illegal last-minute fine out of fear that it might delay your closing. Once you reach the accepted offer stage, you will work with your real estate agent to complete the HOA addendum rider. This document dictates exactly who pays for any upcoming association installments. From there, your title company will request an Estoppel certificate from the management company. Think of this as your specific unit's final financial report card. By law, the association has exactly 10 business days to deliver this certificate back to the title company. Looking at this animated receipt graphic, we see how the state regulates the cost of the estoppel. The association is capped at a $299 base fee. While they can add conditional charges for rush orders or delinquent accounts, the absolute statutory maximum is strictly capped at $597. This estoppel acts as the absolute final ledger. At the closing table, the title agent will automatically deduct any overdue dues and fines listed on this document straight from your net sales proceeds. Your pre-listing dossier is now complete. You have the signed summary disclosure form, a printout of the audited annual budget, a spotless violation record, and clear expectations for your estoppel certificate. By addressing these specific regulations before placing your property on the market, your transaction is actively insulated against unexpected lender blacklists, illegal fines, and statutory contract cancellations. Hand this completed dossier to your listing agent, plant the for sale sign in the yard, and proceed to a secure, successful closing.